Have you ever heard of a ruler so eccentric that he planned to appoint his horse as a consul? If not, allow me to introduce you to Caligula, one of the most intriguing figures from the annals of Roman history. Born as Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, Caligula was the third Roman emperor, a role he stepped into at the tender age of 25. His moniker, Caligula, meaning little soldier's boot, was a nickname he earned as a child. He was the cherished son of Germanicus, a beloved military leader, and Agrippina the Elder, a woman of formidable influence. Caligula's rise to power was as unexpected as it was swift. His path to the throne was cleared by the death of his granduncle and adoptive grandfather, Emperor Tiberius. Tiberius was a stern and unpopular leader whose demise was met with relief across the empire. His passing left a power vacuum, and it was in this void that Caligula found his opportunity. The political maneuvering that ensued was nothing short of a masterclass in cunning. Caligula had the support of the Praetorian Guard, the elite soldiers tasked with protecting the emperor. Their prefect, Macro, played a crucial role in ensuring Caligula's ascendance, even going as far as to smother the ailing Tiberius with a pillow, according to some accounts. However, it wasn't just the military that backed Caligula. The Roman public, weary of Tiberius's harsh rule, was eager for a change. They saw in Caligula a youthful, charismatic figure, a beacon of hope, and a promise of a new era. Little did they know, they were about to witness one of the most controversial reigns in Roman history. When Caligula donned the purple robes of the emperor, he was stepping into a role that carried immense power and influence. He was the ruler of one of the most formidable empires the world has ever known, a position that came with its own set of challenges and opportunities. And so, with the Roman Empire in the palm of his hand, Caligula's reign began. Caligula's reign was far from ordinary, sprinkled with acts that were, to say the least, unusual. Let's take a ride on this roller coaster of eccentricities, shall we? Picture this. The Emperor of Rome, in all his grandeur, squandering the empire's wealth on unnecessary projects. He erected lavish temples in his own honor, even declaring himself a living god. This was a man who reveled in extravagance and, dare we say, vanity. But that wasn't the extent of his peculiar behavior. His most outrageous act, however, was not about himself, but concerned his favorite horse, a noble steed named Incitatus. The tale goes that Caligula loved this horse so much that he planned to appoint him as a consul. Yes, you heard it right, a consul, the highest elected office of the Roman Republic. The stories say that Incitatus lived in a marble stable, slept in an ivory manger, and even had a house with a staff of servants. Now you might be wondering how much of this is true. Well, the truth is we may never know. Ancient sources like the historian Suetonius loved to embellish stories, especially when it came to emperors behaving badly. On the other hand, some historians believe that Caligula's plan to make his horse a consul was not a sign of madness, but rather a calculated move to mock and belittle the Senate. This is the beauty of history. It's a puzzle, a mystery waiting to be solved. Was Caligula merely a misunderstood ruler, his actions misinterpreted by his contemporaries? Or was he really the mad emperor as depicted in popular culture? Whether these tales are fact or fiction, it's clear that Caligula was a character of epic proportions. His actions, his behavior, and yes, his eccentricities make him one of the most talked about emperors in Roman history. While it's hard to separate fact from fiction, there's no denying that Caligula's reign was anything but ordinary. But with such eccentricities, it was only a matter of time before Caligula's reign came crashing down. As time went on, Caligula's rule took a turn for the worse. His eccentricities were no longer amusing quirks but signs of a man spiraling into paranoia and fear. The once adored young ruler had become a tyrant, feared and despised by those who once supported him. The Senate, once a target of his mockery, was now a nest of vipers, whispering of treachery and plotting his downfall. The final years of Caligula's reign were marked by a growing sense of paranoia. He saw enemies in every shadow, traitors in every whisper. But it wasn't just paranoia. There were indeed those who wished to see him fall. One such person was Cassius Chaerea, a tribune of the Praetorian Guard, the very men sworn to protect the emperor. Chaerea had been a loyal servant of Rome, but Caligula's constant mocking and humiliation had pushed him to the edge. The plot against Caligula was meticulously planned. Chaerea and his co-conspirators waited for the perfect moment to strike. And strike they did. In a gruesome display of violence, Caligula was assassinated. The man who once stood as the most powerful in Rome, the man who dared to mock the Senate, the man who planned to appoint his horse as a consul, he was no more. His death was met with a strange mix of emotions: relief, fear, uncertainty. The city that had once cheered for their young emperor now stood silent, unsure of what the future held. The end of Caligula's reign was as tumultuous as his rule, filled with drama, unpredictability, and a sense of dread that echoed through the halls of power. Caligula's reign ended just as it had begun, in a whirlwind of drama and unpredictability. So, what legacy did Caligula leave behind? Let's dive into the echoes of history. As the saying goes, history is written by the victors, and in Caligula's case, his posthumous reputation certainly bore the brunt of this truism. His reign, peppered with eccentricities, left a lasting impression, shaping our understanding of his rule. But how much of it is true? We know about his infamous plan to appoint his favorite horse Incitatus as a consul. But was this a genuine aspiration or a symbolic act of contempt for the Senate? The line between fact and fiction blurs. Historians, both ancient and modern, have grappled with these questions, attempting to separate the man from the myth. The truth may remain elusive, but one thing is certain: Caligula's reputation as an eccentric and unpredictable ruler endures. He stands as a testament to the unpredictability of power and the stories it leaves behind. Caligula remains one of history's most eccentric rulers, a testament to the unpredictability of power and the stories it leaves behind.